Hi guys! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much everyone. Thank you so much for staying true. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for your likes, your comments. Thank you so much for supporting this baby girl. Today I have a guest. Maybe not a guest because she's been here before on one of our episodes and she's here again. And today I am Fatimath to be talking about something very interesting. In our previous episode, we talked about workplace friendships, something professional. But today we're talking about romantic relationships. And I have tagged today's episode as, why do men start with so much intensity but leave abruptly or leave so soon? This is something that is such a big deal to us because we've experienced it quite a lot of times, or multiple times, or quite a few times with men. And I've had friends talk to me about this. Many women face this challenge, and then we just want to share experiences just so that people know that they're not alone in this, and maybe to a large extent, give reasons based on our own experiences as to why men do this. Are you excited?
Yes, I am. I love to talk about things like this because I have seen a lot.
All right, Fatima. So I'm going to leave you to answer the question. Why do you think men start with so much intensity but leave abruptly?
So I have two reasons, right? I'll just say two and then you say two, right?
Yes.
All right. So the first reason that I think men act like that is because they don't have sense. To be polite, it just means they are emotionally immature. Because I don't know what the problem is communicating the fact that you have lost interest in someone, or the fact that you're not ready for something, right? So I think the emotional immaturity of most men is number one cause of this ghosting phenomenon, right? And the second thing that second reason why I think men act like this, from my experience, is this hunting mentality. They like to know that, oh, this babe, I'm going to get her, I'll do everything, put in all their resources, all their time. Because how do you spend like 2-3 hours on the phone with somebody consecutively,
every day,
back to back, and then all of a sudden you just stop, you drop off the surface of the earth, literally, right? So they just want to know that they've gotten this babe. They have in some cases they have smashed a babe. Not in my case, because as a spec, that doesn't happen to us. But I'm just saying that the hunting mentality of most men is really why they do this. They just they like the chase. They like to know that they have caught their prey, and then as soon as they're done with that, on to the next. So yeah, that's it for me.
100%, totally agree. But I hate the fact that you put in so much effort to get something, only to leave the thing or the person at the end of the day. It doesn't make sense to me. So annoying.
Of course.
However, for me, my own two reasons would be, first of all, those men that start with so much intensity but leave abruptly do that because they're not ready for commitment. Adults understand that relationships is hard work. It's a big deal, right? And it's not just for games or looking good on social media or to your friends, but it requires real-time effort, and time to build consistently with one person. That person that really sparks you. So one reason why men start with this much intensity but leave abruptly for me is because they're not ready to commit. They're not ready to build with you. Maybe as Fatima said, they just want to smash or do something fast and go. So that's one reason. And we have to understand that the men who do this are men who will not stop doing it. Right. Then the second reason why I think that men do this is because they're facing some form of baggage or troubles or challenging times. I know it because I've experienced it with one person, right? He started off with so much energy and vigor. However, I think that he had some financial struggles, and after that happened, or during that phase, he just backed out. This is somebody that put in so much effort and energy into us becoming something, right? However, when push came to shove, something like that, or maybe when he was going through something black or a dark time in his life, he just did not think that he wanted to be in the same space with me, in that same emotional space with me, right? So sometimes men start with this intensity and leave abruptly because they're faced with challenges that they want to handle on their own. So these are two reasons for me.
So I just wanted to add something. I do not think that it's a facing emotional baggage or financial challenges is a valid reason to just ghost another human being, right? So we're all adults, and most of these men that we have had the opportunity to be with or interact with, they work. So being in the workplace, you understand that communication is key because there's room for misunderstanding. So you need to be clear. If you're facing challenges and you're probably dating a slay queen, yes, you might not want to tell her because she will not understand and she'll probably break up with you. But then it's better that you were honest about the fact that you're going through something, so the person can make a decision to stay or to go, right? But I do not think that it is fair to just ghost somebody because you're going through challenges. You don't even know if that person can help or if the person is willing to help. But I know that men are not very expressive, so I get that. But I also think that we should re-educate ourselves more, especially in this generation, to be more expressive, to communicate to your partners. If you're seeing someone and things are not going well, be clear about it so that they have their own expectations and they don't get into something thinking, they don't get into a relationship with potential. Rather, give them the opportunity to date your reality.
So I think we're going to be sharing experiences, real life experiences that we've had with these men. I think Fatimath has about 3 experiences, right? And we're just going to be taking turns to share these experiences that you can relate with. I think that along the line you might happen to laugh or just cringe at some facts, but stay with us and enjoy it. Fatima, would you like to start?
So the first person I want to talk about, let's just call him Mr. Global Mandate.
Mr. Global Mandate. We're not using their real names. We're using something that's very peculiar about their character. So Fatima's first experience is Mr. Global Mandate.
So Mr. Global Mandate is named that because he wants to be a global leader, or he believes he's already a global leader, operating on a global landscape, right? So what happened with Mr. Global Mandate? He started really strong. Like his words, his charm, his energy, and he spent money. Let's not forget that. He spent a lot of money whining and dining me. And then, he proceeded to ask me to be his girlfriend. And I thought, it was cute. I mean, I was single, so why not? And it's 2021. I feel like this was my year of exploring anyway. So I was like, why not? And a few weeks into the relationship, I just thought it was best to communicate about my past, some of the people that I've been with. And it turned out that he knew one person, and he was so fixated on that single point, on that single part of my past, that he was like, this is a deal breaker, you can't go ahead. And we talked about it and everything seemed like it was all well and good until one very sad day. I didn't hear from him. He didn't pick up his phone, he didn't reply his text, and it was just that was it. And I think I ran into him someday, and he claimed that it was because he was going through some challenges, and I was just like, you know what, I'm over it, never mind, see you in the future. So that's it with Mr. Global Mandate.
I can relate totally, because before my angel said yes to Mr. Global Mandate, Mr. Global Mandate came to me and said, Wunmi, I really like Fatimath, and he made really deliberate efforts to have her, and it really hurts me every time that I see this Mr. Global Mandate. I'm sure that he's always aware that I'm still really angry with him, because it started so good and it was such a huge disappointment. However, it was not something that was such a good shock to me, because I always perceived that he was full of himself. However, I didn't want that bias in any way to affect Fatima's relationship, and I just wanted her to just
make that
really
decision.
And maybe experience him, and then not just use that subjective bias, that subjective feeling that I had against him to just thwart whatever thing that could bloom with them. But we thank God it has ended.
Thank God.
All right, so my first experience would be with Mr. HR. I don't know if Fatima would remember. Okay, Mr. HR was kind of my spec, but not totally my spec.
He was not a spec at all, by the way.
No, really, he was fair.
But
his height was not just great.
Exactly. And height is everything, for at least for women.
Because I'm short. HR professional. Really driven. Right. Fair, handsome, very calm.
Ambitious.
Yes. One thing about Mr. HR was his calm. Every time that we got together or that we talked, I was just really patient with him. There was this tenderness talking to him, and that was one thing that just made me settle. and not look at the whole physical attributes that I was not very comfortable with, right? And this boy made me fall for him, even if I did not originally like him, right? But because of his character, his warmth, his endearing nature, I started to think that there was a possibility that we could work. And then every day we'll talk every day and stuff, just act like people that were dating. Although I was not ready to say yes to him or be in a relationship with him, but it was thriving, it was interesting. But then suddenly, after about a month or 2 months talking and then laughing, and then making me fall for him, traveling miles just to come and see me, he stopped. And I tried to reach out to him, but nothing tangible. Just stopped talking to me, nothing again. I realized that, because I used to still see his WhatsApp status, right? I realized that he was going through some financial struggles. I realized that career-wise, he was not satisfied with where he was at, and that he was not willing to let me in on what he was going through, right? And I think that was the reason why he just left after putting in so much intensity and efforts to have me, right? It was really painful.
Yeah.
And I just learned that sometimes when men are struggling with certain kind of things, although we know that communication is important, some people some people are not just strong enough. They don't have the bandwidth to be able to share or unburden their feelings, right? And it was very hurtful because I thought that he had already found like a safe haven with me, and it was sad to realize that he was not just confident sharing with me, and it hurt me a lot. Yeah. All right, so you've heard about Mr. Global Monday and then Mr. HR. On to the next.
Your first person actually brings me to my second person.
Yeah.
This person is actually still special to me because the person is my friend. The person still roots for me. The person is my G. But the issue with this person that I would call Mr. Emotionally Unavailable is that he wasn't ready. I don't think he was content with where he was in life. He wanted more. He wanted to be more. He was very ambitious, very driven, and he felt like being in a relationship was going to slow him down because obviously being in a relationship means you have to give time, you have to give energy, and he wasn't just ready for that. And even though we tried to be like in a relationship, it wasn't exactly defined, but it was good. I have no negative comments about this person. But I just feel that if the person just got out of their head for just a little bit, and the person isn't focused on, this relationship is going to take a lot of my time, because we were everything but boyfriend and girlfriend. So if at all we had defined it, I don't think it would have changed anything. So I just feel like the label of being a boyfriend is what put pressure on this Mr. Emotionally unavailable. Yeah.
And I agree. No, not agree. But I understand. Because this Mr. not ready, this Mr. emotionally unavailable, this Mr. undefined and not ready to define it, was a good person.
Yeah.
Right? And he had the body.
He was his spec.
And
he was smart.
It was good. But he just... We move. So, okay, brings me to my second... such a sharp contrast from Mr. Emotional Unavailable. I'll call this one Mr. Designer.
Yeah.
What's my name, Mr. Designer? Mr. Designer. Now, this person met him at a party. I was too fine on that day. He was too handsome on that day. When I walked into that party, I looked back. I looked by my side. I realized that, who is this handsome boy? I need to sit down I didn't sit down next to him. And then I saw that there was a free seat next to him. And there was no seat at all, right? So I went there and sat down, and he looked at my side. Looked at me, and he was captivated. However, the captivation was missing at the end because he left me abruptly.
She was left.
Right? Let me explain this guy to you. Right? Very young. I'll describe him as a small boy.
Very small, immature.
Yeah. I'll say mommy's boy, not experienced enough, and I'll say just wanted to smash.
And she wasn't ready to smash.
Exactly. This Mr. Designer, very trendy, very stylish, knew that he was a fine boy and always flaunted his fine boy on social media.
But that's what she likes too.
Yes. But I've realized that all that glittered is no gold. Because this Mr. Designer, he really glittered a lot. But he was not for me. Right? So 3 weeks, every day, Mr. Designer would call me. I work 9 to 5 remotely. Mr. Designer will call. Even Fatimath used to talk that, why is this boy constantly calling you? This is too good to be true. Mr. Designer will call me every morning and we'll be having a video call. even if we're not talking or communicating, he just wanted to see me. Just wanted to share my day with me. And he did this non-stop, day in, day out, week by week for about 3 weeks. However, at some point, he wanted to see me, and I wanted to, and of course, we were supposed to meet in a public place or not his house. But then when I now turned down Mr. Designer's invitation to come to his house, that's when things now started going south. And it was very helpful because he was a church boy. He was a Jesus brother. And it was just, at the end of the day, I just realized that he was such a huge hypocrite. And it was painful for me. Because he was so conscious about building something with me. I just did not know that it would lead to nothing. And it was hurtful to realize that he was just a small boy who wanted to do something with me under the pretense of, I'm a church boy and I love Jesus. It was hurtful, but we move. We move.
I just wanted to add to that point that another thing that guys in this generation are doing is wearing this mask of, I'm a church boy, I'm a very good boy, I'm godly and stuff. And it's trapping a lot of good girls because they think that, oh, this is the kind of person that they want, but it's just a mask. And as soon as the mask falls off, you just realize that they're really ugly human beings on the inside, even though you're fine on the outside. They're really ugly on the inside.
I just think that it's very important, as women, to always stand our ground. Because at that point, if I was too carried away by who he was and how much attention he was giving to me, I'd have gone to his house on the first date. Something that in 7 years to come, nobody that Wunmi Kazim would have done that. But I would have done that, right? But I didn't do that because I realized that I didn't want to start on that note.
Definitely.
I didn't want just to be. I really did not want to be too easy, and that would have just been going against what I always preach. It was so inappropriate and wrong. And as women, we should always stand firm and do what is right. We should not be swayed by emotions or feelings of how good the boy, how good he is, or how much effort he's putting into making it work. You will see the red signs to be visible and act right.
Glaring.
Fatima, your third experience.
Alright, so we'll call this person Baby Boy. This person was
Mr.
fine.
Baby Boy.
He was fine.
Like milk. So fine.
And he was, I don't know, let me not describe his complexion so that. But he was fine. Like, nobody would see this person and call him ugly. Like, there's no way. What happened with this person? Things were good. We met on a trip. Right? While I was on a work trip. And his problem, not his problem, my problem was, he started very strong. He wanted to take me out. He wanted to like buy me food as if I'm hungry. I don't even understand. I'm not even a food person, so that was not even.
She's not a food person.
So he just wanted to do everything. Like, oh, I want to see you today. I want to take you to this place. I want to take you to that place. And I'm like, oh, energy. Okay, let's see how long this is going to last. And then we started talking. I think we became really close. He asked me to be his girlfriend. I was like, oh, okay. Yes, no problem. I mean, like, no problem. It's fine. And then I think we had a full relationship for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And then
the shortest.
And then I had to come back to my base, right? And we didn't speak. He was supposed to come and see me in Lagos. The day that he got to Lagos was literally the last time that we spoke for some weird reason. I tried to call him. His number wasn't even going through. His messages were not delivering. And I even panicked. I thought he was sick, right? And then one day out of the blues, he just calls me. Hello, how are you doing? And I'm like, what? Like what's going on? And he said that he could explain that something happened. His explanation was that the day he came to see me, he had to pick up a family friend from the airport. And it turned out that the family friend was an elderly auntie that brought
a potential
wife for him from America.
And
I'm like, okay, so make it make sense. Like, what does that even mean? And he was like, oh, he doesn't want anything to do with the person. He was just entertaining his auntie. And I'm like, so why were you not picking up your calls? Why were you not replying to messages? And like, oh, I wouldn't understand. And do you know that this person was posting pictures on WhatsApp like a crazy human being? So it now made me like, this is one person that made me doubt my sanity, because I was like, what's going on? Am I really mixing things up in my head? Like he really made me think that I was going mental, to be honest. I think that this is the worst. This was really the lowest of all my experiences. It was just terrible. And at the end of the day, when the person went back to the US, he now thought it made sense for us to continue whatever we had, but it was a waste of time for me. Like
Yeah.
if you snooze, you lose. Or like I'm not even here to be. I won't have you thinking about your future with me. It's either you know or you don't know.
Yes.
And if you are second guessing, that's it. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye bye. Yeah, that thing really hurt me. However, I also want to say that I think that Fatimath was really, really quick to agree to be his girlfriend. Yeah, so
He was fine.
he was fine. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes as women, you know, we have sometimes we contribute to this men living fast because we make it too easy for them.
Yeah, it's true.
Make it too easy for them, right? So I think that's it. I have only 2 experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just going to give some of my takeaways that could help you guys, right? So first of all, I'm saying this on top of my head. I hope that it makes sense. But I'm going to say that women, we should really understand that men come and men go. You know, sometimes, all in all, they're experiences, and we must learn from them. But as a starter, if you're starting to talk to somebody, if you're in talking stage with somebody, don't be carried away by what they do. Do you understand? Allow time test the strength of that relationship that is brewing. Right? I think that from what I learned from Fatima's last story, you know, he was good at the beginning, right? And that really made her say yes too fast. She didn't give it time. So as women, you know, as girls, we have to just give it time. Don't be carried away by their good in nature, right? Allow time test the truth of their actions. You know, give it time, right? So that's it. That's what I'm just going to say. If something pops up again, I'll share it. Fatima, any words?
So my own takeaway is for guys, or no, not takeaway. Let me start edit that part. So my own advice, or what I would just like to wrap up with, is for guys, please understand that ghosting is really immature. You really make the other person think that you're going crazy when you do that. It's just easy to communicate that you are no longer interested. It is simple. It would be hard for the person to take, but I trust you that you would be able to build an after relationship with the person if you just communicate and say that this is what's happening. And for women, I just want us to realize that anytime spent on wondering why this person left or why things didn't work out with this person is a complete waste of your time, especially if you were ghosted, because it is not your fault.
Yeah.
If someone ghosts you, someone stops talking to you, move on. That's why I think I have a lot of experiences, because there's no time to waste time. Like, I will not dwell on somebody's I wouldn't dwell too long on why something didn't work. I think I did it for the first 2 people, and then with this last person, I was like, I'm over it. So any time spent wondering why is a waste of time.
Yeah, I think that maybe I don't totally agree with what you said, because I think that when you go through bad experiences, right, or experiences that are painful, we have to give ourselves moments of reflection or time to just heal. You know, I get that you're a very strong person and you're able to process and move quickly. But sometimes you understand you've not really learned from what happened. And you're quick to fall into that mess again. Right? So there's some people that are strong-willed like her and can move on fast. Although sometimes it can be harmful to you, your emotional health. I would advise that when all those kind of things happen, when you fall prey to all these bad experiences, take our time to think, what did you do right? What did you not do right? How did you contribute to this? If you know that you cannot be faulted in any way, just relax. You know, take some time to just be on your own, so that when the next person comes, you have a clear mind, you know, and can build something healthy with that person. So that's it, guys. Currently, what's the current relationship status? It's true. Let's end it like that. Is there any prospects?
Yes, of course. There are always prospects.
How many prospects?
There are always prospects with me, because I am a spec personally. But yeah, there are prospects. We'll just have to see. Maybe the next time I'm on here, I would be in a relationship.
And it will be Fatimath, her true love, and me, the host, making them stronger in love. All right, so I think that's it for today, guys. Understand women. I love my women so much. Understand that you're enough, you know, and that you have to wait for God's time. The man who's meant for you will come to you. And I'm not saying that it'll be perfect from beginning to the end. I'm just saying that if it's really true, if it's what God has intended for your life, it'll be worth it.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Subscribe. I love you. To finding love,
to finding happiness, and being at peace with yourself.
Bye.